Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Spice and Wolf episode 9. It's really going fast, isn't it? Uh, Most of the shows that I'm currently watching are already going to be hitting episodes like 8, 9 in this case, and it still feels as if the season has only started, really. I don't know why, but this season really just blasts through, just really passes by me. Maybe it's because in the previous season there were plenty of like double core shows that I've been watching, right? There was Frieren and there was Shangri-La, both of them were double core. So yeah, probably why. Probably why. This time around, pretty much everything is 12 episodes long, except of course Spice and Wolf, that's scheduled for 25. Is anything else scheduled for more than 12? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Unfortunately. Regardless, we are here in episode 9 of Spice and Wolf. And yeah, I'm kind of finding it hard to figure out where exactly it's going to go. Like, I know the general direction, but I don't know anything, any details I can't really even begin to figure out. Something's gonna happen with the armor. Something's shady about it. Craft is also being looked for by someone, so that's also by someone, by the company that he got the armor from. So that's also even adds even more to the shadiness. And then we also have Nora, who also is in kind of sort of shady, maybe not shady, but interesting and not entirely stable circumstances. So all of that is like a keg of powder that can just blow up eventually, and I'm not sure in which direction, but I like not being sure. This is the good kind of not being sure. This is the good kind of not knowing. Regardless, in the previous episode, Nora joined our merry team, the little shepherd girl, and we talked a little bit with her, talked a little bit with Holo. Holo, of course, being, first of all, jealous, because, of course, jealous of her man. Second of all, not particularly liking shepherds, because shepherds chase away wolves, and she is a wolf, so, of course, there's gonna be some animosity there. But all of that got more or less resolved with a little bit of Kraft's smooth talking and a little bit of fun in general, and some money for Nora that might help her in her circumstances. We'll see, of course, where her story goes. I'm very much curious to see that. We, of course, in the end. First of all, we learned about Nora, right? She's an orphan that was taken care of by the church. Then, randomly in a forest, she found the shepherd dog and shepherd staff. And that's when she became a shepherd, working for the church, having a tiny little flock and being sent away to the wolves, quite literally sent to the wolves. Because no other areas are apparently supposedly suitable, right? Everything else is taken, although we see plenty of open pastures. So of course Nora is being sent away beyond the forest, beyond the mountains, beyond the seventh fucking ocean to the wolves to take care of her flock there. Someone raised a good point in a comment that the church might actually be giving a little bit of credence to the to people talking of Nora as of a sorceress. Maybe, right? Like she knows the shepherd rituals. I can't imagine the church being particularly happy about that. She also just randomly got the staff, right? Staff associated usually with mages. Nobody knows where it came from. Maybe it's divine providence? Probably not. It's probably the devil that gave it to her, or she herself created it, binding a werewolf in the shape of a dog to do her bidding, or whatever kind of a story they've spun. So it's entirely plausible that the church is keeping her and giving her those like handful of sheep just to give her something to do, just to keep her around, keep an eye on her, because they're afraid that if they were to release her, or if she just decided to release herself, perhaps after reaching a suitable age to, no longer be in the orphanage, who knows what would happen, and the church would have no control over it. Maybe. I'm still not entirely sure. We have not learned particularly much about Nora, about the church, about the relationship. Not enough for me to say for sure, but it's certainly probable that the church actually is afraid a little bit, or at least wary of the rumors. We'll see. Then, right, we all arrived at the city of something. The target city, the holy city, I believe the one that is like the base of operations for the big march north. Lawrence Kraft, of course, brought the armor with him, paid some taxes with one piece of armor, but everybody seems very surprised that, oh, you have armor from where, you say? It's that armor from that place. Do they carry armor? I mean, the stamp checks out and the paperwork checks out, but shit, I wouldn't have said that it's the case, right? There's something shady about it. Everybody, like fucking everybody, seems surprised about it. Literally everybody. It cannot spell anything good. Then there's also a trading company in the city that is completely barren. They get absolutely no business for some reason. I mean, it's like the staging point for a big, excursion north to kill the heathens. You'd think that the city would be on like a verge of a festival, right? Food stalls standing on the streets, people selling shit all around because there's not enough space in the. It brings a lot of people, a lot of soldiers, a lot of the retinue, a lot of people supporting, right? It brings a lot. But that one company doesn't seem to enjoy any increased business. I don't know what's different about it, but we'll see, I assume. What else happens? Right, at that company, someone is apparently looking for Kraft, someone from the company that he bought the armor from. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I'm gonna be honest with you. The name kinda eludes me right now, but I believe that's the case. So, another point to the shadiness of the armor. And we also went to visit Kraft's father, you could say, like a found father figure of his. Someone who is leader of the local branch of the like merchants, not guild, but like a group, like a clan, like a merchant clan, I guess you could say, that Kraft is a part of. And they had a nice heart-to-heart moment, like father and son. And that's about where the episode ended. Oh, we also had Nora return to the city, and the priest gave her like a weird look. I'm still not sure what kind of a look it was, but I'm assuming we will learn that soon enough. Yeah, what do I expect from today's episode? I don't know, honestly. Probably Kraft trying to sell some of the armor, and some issues arising from that. Maybe we're gonna see another glimpse into Nora's life. Maybe Holo is going to get to eat her honeyed peaches. That would be swell. We'll see. But yeah, it certainly seems like there's like another arc beginning, like the previous arc with the with the silver coins. Now it's the like armor arc, I would say something's gonna happen and continue happening for the foreseeable future. I'd say at least we're looking at least like 3-4 episodes of that. I don't know. Maybe we'll see about that, of course. But to do that, we will need to watch this episode, of course. And to do it, you will need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for your support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 9 of Spice and Wolf in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh? Oh, so he knows of Holo? I'm assuming Lamtra is further north? Oh. I assume the church forbids it? Yep. Safe assumption. She's a witch! She's a witch! Apaga Satanas! Yeah, don't say that in front of Holo. Oh, that was the empty one, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's wrong with Remerio? Something's wrong specifically with that particular company. Hmm. Okay, so like Nora's circumstance is so far fairly easy to understand. She is actually being seen as a filthy witch that, you know, oh, she's the only one, she can speak to the wolves, right? She probably fornicates with the wolves in the forest, right? Like shit like that was common in the Middle Ages. Accusations of women having sex with demons, and that's why their tomatoes ripened faster this spring, or whatever sort of bullshit, right? And of course, anybody associating with a witch, well, it's very easy to accuse them of heresy as well, isn't it? I wonder if it's going to bring some issues for Kraft, like just the fact of him associating himself with Nora. They did separate before arriving at the city, so maybe nobody knows. Maybe. And my screen is dirty. There. All better. Sweet honey and bitter armor. You jealous yet? No, that was easy. Yeah, probably. I mean, exactly. Those ears are not only cute, but functional as well. Okay, I guess that's the best you can do with the situation. Or maybe the worst, actually. No, the best. With some peaches. Yeah, that was easy. uh, very cute. Very cute indeed. Yeah, now about those peaches, though. Or some good old unprotected hand holding. That also works. Nah, don't scream, god damn it. Ooh, the church. Yeah, sure, you surely believe that it was the god, don't you? Through you? Or do you mean, like, the fact that she found the staff was, like, God giving her a sign, become a shepherd, become a shepherd? Sketching his dream store again? Mm, it's close. If you actually do know that it will sell. Hmm. I wonder if the company will be willing to trade. Like, I don't know where their issues come from, right? Oh, just eating a whole pie like a sandwich, why don't you? Peaches? No. No peaches. Yeah, it's really dead around here, isn't it? Ring a bell? Oh, I guess the company's in bad graces of someone. Those two dudes looking at him looked like thugs. Could they possibly be like chasing away potential merchants wanting to do business with this company? Something along those lines? Yeah, that's a fair comparison. Yeah, you get a morsel. I have expected someone to approach them and say basically, yeah, don't do business with this company or else, right? Do they not want business? You'd think that they'd be happy at business coming their way, but he was ready to just let them go. Why? Oh, I get it. So now they're essentially gonna get the armor for free as repayment of debt. Is that it? That's it. Perfect scheme to essentially transport the armor for free. Huh. And even earn a pretty penny if his debt is higher than the armor he purchased. Oh, there was a deadline. Well, that changes things. I'm assuming with interest. That's a very short deadline. Hmm. Yeah, they were probably hoping to get this armor as a repayment of the debt. How are you planning to sell this armor for more money, though? Why exactly, though? Why do you say the armor became trash? No, we gotta heal that injury really fast, yeah. Also, it wouldn't be bad to let Remerio assume your debt either, right? You can always repay them in presumably more extended period of time. He would lose credibility, though. And credibility is like everything for a merchant, isn't it? Smoke's not moving. Okay, bank heist. Probably. No, she's coming with. This time you're not shaking her off. Yeah, essentially presenting her to his parents. Yeah, simple enough. Or investment, that also works. Of course, that takes precedence over any other matters. Yeah, business partners. If you know what I mean, nudge nudge, wink wink. Yeah, she also saved you from being scammed once. She is an asset. Oh, divorce is a thing? Yeah, how are we getting Lawrence out of bankruptcy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did get overconfident. But greed and stupidity, that's a different thing. It's your own fault. Oh, this music track. Makes sense, yeah. Oh, okay. I would think that they have some system of like lending money to their members. In a dungeon? Yep. Or just not as a merchant, but rather as a laborer, and perhaps a forced laborer, even. Yeah, okay. Or that. Yeah, forced labor. Yeah. What kind of a loophole would there be here, though? It legitimately seems like their only option is to sell the armor for enough money, then purchase something for cheap, and then sell it for more and try to make up. Oh! Well, paying debt with another debt never ends well. No, the news have spread. They know that you're already in debt. Nobody's gonna lend you anything. Maybe in a different city if you're fast. If nobody got to that different city yet. Nope. Nope. Is someone spreading the news on purpose? Or is it simply that the news travels fast? Not even opening the door for him. Is someone targeting him specifically? Is it because he associated himself with Nora? And it's the church's doing? Or did the news genuinely spread this fast that he's bankrupt? Yeah, the word spreads fast. But you associated yourself with a witch. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Like, you're living out of wedlock. How dare you ask for help from a good Christian like myself? Or... Okay, third act breakup. That's what it is. Yep. What was the issue, though? I'm assuming Holo will be true to her word and she will save him in her own way, right? She will return to the inn and she will devise some plan and she will execute that plan on her own, and then she will burst through the door with 2 sacks of gold and say, yo, debt is paid. Something like that? Probably. That's what I would be expecting. We'll see. Or she will find some sort of a loophole or something. What we will see right now, though, is this episode again. Okay, so I wish you'd hurry and become a merchant, right? Renowned for his name. That girl will leave you at a drop of a hat? No! That's like one constant that Kraft can really honestly count on. I think that that Holo will be with him, and that she will be of help to the utmost of her ability. She might not always be helpful, but whenever she can be helpful, she will be. She will be there to notice a crooked table. She will be there to smooth talk a merchant into paying more money for Martin first, right? That's like one constant. The market might be shifting, but Holo will be there. So yeah, I think they're together through thick and thin. On the thin side nowadays, but still. Yeah, investment. Do any merchants want to go to Lamtram? Right. No one wanted to hire her as the bodyguard because of the church, of course. Because she's wandering around that area without getting hurt, so of course she must be in cahoots with the pagan spirit of the wolves or whatever, and that's why, right? She must be making offerings of human newborns to the wolves or whatever sort of a bullshit they could come up with. Yeah, I wonder if it's actually the church messing with Lawrence here, or is it solely the like nature of this place, nature of this like religious country, religious city rather. Where is it? Spice and Wolf. Church is messing with Lawrence because of Nora. Maybe someone heard, maybe someone's seen, someone spread the rumor, someone spread the word, and now he's associated with the witch. Could be that. Could be, as I said, just the nature of this place, right? This is essentially the fucking Vatican, and he's walking around with a woman out of wedlock. They're not married. They're not together. They've been seen holding hands. How dare they? That's something you do after you're married and wait 3 more months in celibacy, then you can hold hands, right? Probably some sort of a bullshit thing like that. What they're doing is essentially visiting the Vatican with your gay lover and kissing in the St. Peter's street fucking plaza or whatever it's called, right? That's essentially what they're doing here. So of course people will be talking, and of course who, right, like who opens a business in the Vatican? Well, people who are fine with it, people who are also religious or perhaps want to keep like the aura, the vibe of being religious for their own for their own benefit from like a purely pragmatic standpoint, and they can't be associating themselves with someone who has a wife but is not married or whatever sort of a bullshit, right? So wherever you go, whatever you do, yeah, Holo is actually not helping this time around. Interesting spin, interesting reversal here. That all this time, Holo's presence was a net positive to him. In this one episode, her presence was a net negative. Like, if he left Holo be like in front of the city gates and went in alone, or if he left her at an inn, or right, he might have actually gotten alone. Interesting, like a little bit of a switch, a little bit of a subversion of how it usually went. Remerio Trading Company, you'll see when you get there. There is still something very shady about the Remerio Company. This is not an offhand remark. This is significant somehow. That the Rowan Merchant Association is under the protection of Saint Lombardos. Could Kraft seek shelter in Saint Lombardos? Worst comes to worst? Maybe? Probably not. Merchants are a global network, so he would be burnt wherever he goes. OP. Little bit of teasing. Honey pickled peaches. And yeah. It would not be good to get separated. May I hold your hand? I wonder, is there like a little detail of someone maybe looking at them as they hold their hand? Let me take a look at the crowd. No, they're just CG puppets. Nobody that would matter. Yeah, of course she wants to graze in a slightly safer area, but no. Oh, the god gave you the power to keep wolves at bay. The god made you a shepherd, so you gonna be the shepherd among the fucking wolves. It's God's will and all that. The hunter is most vulnerable when it's captivated by its prey. And that really struck true, right? Kraft was riding that high from being able to sell pepper for much more. He was riding that high from, seeing through the swindle. He was riding that high and thought that he can, he can push around a little bit, right? He can be the big guy here. Oh, I've seen through your swindle. Now you're gonna give me credit. Gonna give me the armor in credit and cheap. And I'm the big guy here, right? He kind of got into that state when Holo discovered the swindle, and he thought that that's gonna be it. But as soon as he left, of course, the fucking swindler, of course, the merchant who tried to swindle him would try to swindle him again. Why would he not? Why would he not? He must have been fuming, knowing that he had to pay so much for pepper. He must have been fuming, knowing that he gave away the armor for so cheap, that he gave away the credit for so cheap, and he devised this plan. Where does the armor go? Well, to the north. Where's Kraft gonna go? We know where exactly. So I'm gonna call up the trading companies there and say, hey, yo, I'm giving the fucking credit to you. You can buy it from me. If you see that dude, he owes me big. And do with it what you want. Of course that would be the case. Continuity. The previous, mini arc doesn't end there. It has consequences. I like it. I like that it actually has consequences. I really thought that the previous, not the previous, but the second to previous episode, where he was selling the pepper, was just, a one-off. We go to a trading company, we try to sell pepper, Holo sees through the swindle gets called out, we sell pepper for more. Good, cool, standalone story. No, it has repercussions. Good, I like it. I really do. Merchant trading isn't the same as hunting prey. It is. It is. If your fellow merchants see you're vulnerable, they're gonna rip you to pieces. And they're not gonna leave a bone. They're going to take everything off you down to the garb of your fucking back. Yeah, buying on credit. We get foreshadowing that it's probably a bad idea. If you know something will sell, yeah, but you don't know that. That's the thing here. You can never be sure, you can never be certain. Maybe, rarely. Sure, say, I know, it's nearing winter in some fishing village. That's when they start preserving their fish in salt and spices, so for winter, so they are probably in need of salt and spices, so I'm gonna move salt and spices there. They're gonna sell for more money. right? Or, I don't know, like any other example, right? Any other example like that. Sure, you can be certain to a certain degree, but never fully. Because who knows, maybe some other merchant also had the same idea that you did. And they went there first. And the villagers, they no longer need salt. They have their supply. They're not gonna buy yours for even the market price, let alone for more. They have no need for it. Or maybe something else has changed. Maybe maybe before you managed to get there, you weren't at that village for a full year because you only go there once a year to sell their salt. Maybe they created some fucking desalination plants. They're evaporating seawater and get their own salt. And your salt is suddenly no longer needed. Right? Things change. You can never take anything for granted. And the best idea actually here is to not indebt yourself. Because worst case scenario, you sell that salt for less and you're gonna be a little behind, right? Or maybe you're gonna have to travel further to sell your salt, or maybe you're gonna have to keep that salt in a storage. If you have it, it's not gonna go bad, and sell it in in summer because some other village on the other end of the continent does something with it. Whatever, right? You have some sort of a recourse, but once you get in debt, that's it. If you don't repay it, you're in the negative. And it's much easier to get up from zero than it is to get up from negative. Right? Because if you're in zero, if you have, like, I don't know, 50 silver coins to your name, you can buy something for those 50 silver coins and sell it for more expensive and start building up from zero. You can maybe ask your trading company for a little bit of an investment, right? Like, they know you're a good merchant, you fumbled a little bit, but they are willing to make like 10 silver coins investment, or they're willing to give you some acacia wood or whatever that you can carry to a port, and they're gonna pay you for that, just for the transport, and you already get some money, and you can start building up from there without ever getting in debt. But if you're in debt, first of all, you lose all credibility. Second of all, there's a deadline on that. Third of all, any money that you might earn will go towards paying off that debt, right? So to have those 10 silver coins to buy something to sell it more expensive, you will first have to pay 200 silver coins. So you will need 210 silver coins in total to have those 10 silver coins to restart your merchant empire. He really fumbled here. He really got that high and that confidence. He really got overconfident. And as we all know, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. He also did not get information, I feel. I feel like if he asked around, he would know that, yeah, the Marriott Trading Company is not doing all that well. They're probably not going to be willing to buy your stuff, right? Or maybe, yeah, they're actually fully supplied in armor by another merchant. You're not going to sell anything. Something like that. If you only asked around, if you only paid attention. There was that scene. I'm probably not gonna find it. Not really a scene, just a single shot, really. Where there were people who seemed like thugs watching this place. Yeah, like those two dudes in the background, right? The one in the green green thing and the one in a hat. But now that I look at it, there are also other people looking at him. And they're probably wondering, what the fuck is he doing at Remedio? Remedio is like fucking bankrupt or whatever. Is he stupid? Or maybe they know that he's Lawrence, that he's Kraft Lawrence and he has debt. And they're pitying him because he got to where his debt will have to be paid. Right? Something like that. Those sort of looks, like they know. Also, another big mistake. Kraft has been in the city for a couple of days, as we heard. He didn't ask around. He didn't even, go to a tavern and ask, oh, by the way, how's Remedio doing nowadays? If he did, maybe he would formulate another plan. Maybe let's get out of the city and try selling the armor somewhere else. Maybe let's try selling it to a different company, right? Something, anything. But he didn't. He got complacent. Maybe a little bit too complacent in holo skills. Maybe. Like he's counting on, oh, should I get, scammed? Should someone try to scam me? Holo's gonna see through that, so I'm like, no problem. Maybe. I don't think so, but it's a possibility. Sounds of people inside. Atmosphere seems quite unpleasant. Yeah, the Remedio Trading Company is also in trouble. Somehow. We don't know why. They certainly seem to be denying business, though. Like, if he didn't know that it was Kraft, he would just let this merchant go. Why? Your company is not doing well. There's no business. But here comes someone willing to do business with you. Why would you let them go? Is it because your own company is on the brink of bankruptcy and you simply have no resources to trade for and no money to purchase? Is that why? And they see getting this debt as their last ditch effort to keep the company solvent? Could be. Could be. Remedio is on a brink of bankruptcy. They see Kraft's debt as a last chance to get at least some money and ideally armor as well. You were planning to sell armor that you bought from Lat Paron. See, initially I thought that the scheme is much simpler. Essentially, the trading company sells Lawrence armor at credit. Lawrence transports this armor to a trading company. That trading company takes this armor as repayment for the debt, meaning Kraft did not earn a single penny. He transported all that armor for nothing, completely for free. Maybe he's even in more debt, right? I thought that it's a simple scheme to just get the transport for free. But it seems to run deeper, because it's not just getting transport for free, it's a lot of debt. And apparently, it's because of the northern expedition being cancelled for some reason. I guess that explains why the mercenaries were moving south. They went north. They heard that, oh, there's not going to be an expedition, so they are going back south. Is that it? But why would the expedition be cancelled, though? That's a good question. Is the country preparing for war? Maybe? With another country? Like, let's not waste our resources and people fighting the heathens up north, because there is a danger in the south. And everybody's gonna be sent there and we're gonna start a war. Is that it? Or is it as simple as, it's cancelled because it's cancelled? I'm not sure what other explanation would there be. it's cancelled because it's unnecessary, because the amount of heathens and demons have been less than usual, so there's no point in the expedition. The North no longer poses a danger? I don't know. Still, surprising that Kraft did not hear of it. He took it for granted, didn't he? He took the whole expedition for granted. Of course there's an expedition. Of course they're gonna need armor, right? Like my example with salt and a desalination plant. Of course they're gonna be salting their fish. Of course they're gonna need salt. What? They make their own salt and mine is no longer needed, right? I really think that it's due to overconfidence. He was on a winning streak all this time. He was earning a lot of money. He got that additional high figuring out a scam. He knew that there's like a surefire way to make money, right? And he didn't bother to check because every year it worked. Every year it was a big profit maker. So why would it be different this year? He got complacent and confident, and that lost him. Armor has become practically worthless, indeed. He's gone bankrupt. The worst thing that can happen to a merchant, isn't it? 47 and 3/4 Lumione coins. I'm assuming Lumione is like a gold coin. We're no longer dealing in silver, but in gold. Payment deadline. That's a very short deadline, though. In 2 days? Like, even if he did sell the armor today with profit, would he be able to make it back to that trading company to pay off his debt in 2 days? Somehow I don't think so. How long did it take them to go from that city to this city? I think it was around 2 days. Around 3 even, because they had to spend a night in like meadows with Nora, and before that they traveled for a couple of days, I think. That's a very short period. Like, you'd think that, debt repayment is at least a month. Why would Kraft agree to such a short term? Another mistake of his, another example of overconfidence, another bit of thinking, oh, for sure I'm gonna have enough money in that time. We will ask the Rowan Merchant Association to assume the debt on your behalf. And it would be feasible, I would like to think, right? It would be an out for his parent company to assume the debt on his behalf and for him to pay off that debt to his clan slowly, gradually, on like preferential terms, maybe low, whatchamacallit, not markup, low like monthly, whatever, low percentage, right? Like, instead of 5% per month, it's gonna be like 1% or whatever, and it would be extended a little bit. He would suffer his reputation, yeah, but it's better than forced labor. But then how would he be able to make up that money should he lose his reputation as a merchant? Who would do business with him knowing that he became insolvent and his company, his clan, his merchant association had to bail him out? Who would be willing to do business with someone like that? He would have to meet someone like Yare again, someone like that village who is still establishing themselves. Nobody wants to buy their wheat, and he would make a risk like that. But that's just a chance. He's fucked one way or another. Whether Rowan takes that debt or not. Very short deadline. What do you do with armor? See, this line, it won't be worth much no matter where you go. I think that it's significant. That it actually will be worth much somewhere. Don't know where, but somewhere. Could it be that Nora comes into play again? Like, there is a city that needs armor, but it's a week away. Unless you go through the wolf territory, then it's gonna be just a day. Maybe something like that. I wonder. And should Holo not be with him? Right? Because if Holo is with him, then he doesn't need Nora's help to do that. But if they're separated, and they seem to be at the end of this episode, he would need Nora's help. I don't know. The goods in our carrot have become trash. Locally, here. Yeah, not universally. Yeah, the information network of merchants is practically the same as the eyes of God. Everybody will know that he ran away with debt. Nobody would do business with him. They would just report him to the guards immediately. Whatever trading company he enters, they would apprehend him. He would have to completely reject his merchant life, go to the next continent over, and work as a fucking tomato farmer. That would be his only out. Everyone knows that an injured animal will be eaten to the bone. Yeah, sure. I just need to make enough money in 2 days to pay the debt. I will make sure you escape, even if I must use the power of this wheat. That's foreshadowing, isn't it? That's just foreshadowing. Holo assumes the form of a wolf. Kraft pretends to chase it away. Asks compensation for his services. Something like that. I don't know, maybe. But it's 100% foreshadowing. Yeah, we're meeting the fellow countrymen. I was thinking of convincing the two of you to get a divorce. Why? Why would it be? So that she's not burdened with Kraft's debt? Because if they're not divorced and Kraft cannot pay off, she will be the one harassed for money. Maybe. Maybe something like that. But, like, it seems that it would genuinely be better for them to be married. Because the reception by the fellow merchants would be better. At least in this, like, super ultra religious city. Or is it some, like, taboo among merchants where you cannot take a wife while you're a traveling merchant? Like, while you're, you know, sedentary, you have your own shop, you're in one place. Sure, take a wife, have some kids, but as long as you're traveling, it's a taboo. Only two explanations as to why Holo being with Lawrence is an issue. Either a church taboo or a merchant taboo. And him talking explicitly about convincing them to get a divorce could play into either wanting to save Holo the issues coming with debt, or it could come from that merchant taboo. There are guys like you every once in a while. Yeah, it really seems to me like, being married or even traveling with a woman, being tied to her in whatever way is seen as at least unusual, if not outright taboo among traveling merchants at least. One day they have an unimaginable beauty with them and seem to get along. Yet they never talk about the woman and I never ask about them. The scriptures say it isn't good to carelessly open a mysterious box. Right. And yeah, no help. He has to be, strict. He has to be just to all of the members of the association. He can't play favorites here. You have to return what you owe yourself. Yep. Figures. Can't play favorites. Surprising that there is no lending money within the association. I wonder if it's like a universal rule that it would only sour the relationship of people within the association. So it's better to leave money out of it, right? Like they can share information, they can stay at the headquarters if they need to, right? They get the bed, they get breakfast, whatever. But there's no money changing hands. Because if, one member of the association is indebted to the other one, that's gonna cause some issues, that's gonna cause a schism, and it's in general going to sour the association. Could be why. Or is it specifically towards Lawrence? It would be a different thing if he lost his wares in a fire. Then sure, the association will lend you some money so that you can rise up from the literal ashes. If you were sick for a month and you couldn't travel and all of your wares rotted, they can lend you some money so that you can rebuy them. Or they can even maybe give those wares to someone else so that they can sell it in your name and bring you a share of profit, right? They can accommodate you if it's actually something that, happened not because of you. But if it's your own fault, if you did bad business move, if you indebted yourself, if you were cocky, if you didn't think, if you were greedy, you're not getting help. Because it's your fault. It's your bed, you made it, now sleep in it. Probably this sort of a rule, right? If it's not your fault, we're gonna help you however we can. If it is your fault, it's your fault. You deal with that. Remerio is feeling the pressure after failing in their own investment in armor. Right, explains why they get no business, explains why they're so invested in getting this debt, because it's a way for them to recuperate some of those losses. And I'll have to detain you. Yeah, you will have it tomorrow, but it will be on a galley or in a mine for 10 fucking years. That's your future. And then you're gonna come out of it missing fingers, if alive at all, and with all of your mercantile connections gone, with all of your assets gone, you would be starting literally from scratch at the age of 50. And that's not easy. Sins must be punished. But at the same time, yeah, if there's something I can help you with, I will. So you actually get those 2 days, find some loophole, figure something out. Paying a debt with another debt, that's never a good idea. Never ever. And nobody wants to lend him any money. The word spread around, and also apparently the issue is that he's with a woman. Why would it be an issue though? Only God could predict a market collapse. It would be harsh to blame someone for that. I live according to his word. Yeah. Right. However, you're walking around with a woman. Well, depending on the mercy of others for money. This doesn't seem like he would mean like, oh, you're walking around with a woman out of wedlock. It seems like there's some sort of like economic reason for having a woman around being seen as a negative. Is it like the kind of thinking of, oh, you can afford her clothes and food for 2 people, and you can afford to accommodate her and buy her a comb and stuff, but you can't afford to pay off your debt? Is it this? Or are we getting a little bit darker with it, meaning sell her body for money? You have a way to make money, don't be asking others for money. Just use the asset you have. A very, like, you know, pragmatic to a fault way of thinking of her as just an asset that can make money. I don't think it's the latter. I don't think it's the latter. How dare you mock others like this? I really think that it's like, yeah, it's like seen like as a symbol of status, isn't it? I think that's it. If you have a woman, that means you can afford her upkeep, right? That's why it's seen negatively if you're a traveling merchant and you have a woman with you. If you're sedentary, if you're in place, then that means you're doing well for yourself. So of course, having a wife, that's fine because you can clearly afford it. But if you're a traveling merchant and you think that you can afford having a woman with you, and you apparently are affording her, and you're asking for money, you carry yourself around as if you're rich, as if you've made it with a woman, and you're asking for pity, you're asking for money? There is your fellow brethren around who cannot afford to keep a woman with them, and they're not asking, but you are? How dare you? Right? This sort of a thing? I think so. I think so. And of course, hurtful words. If it weren't for you, then immediate realization, I'm sorry, but it's going to take some time to mend it. Yeah, it really is a third act breakup, isn't it? Hurtful words, shouted out in a moment, immediate regret, giving some space for both of them to think about what happened, to rethink the relationship a little bit maybe, giving some time for Kraft to come to terms with the fact that none of what he has is granted, none of it is given to him. He shouldn't take anything for granted. He can lose everything in a matter of moments, so he could be more careful. And giving Holo some time to maybe learn that it's not all, rainbows and apples and pies, that there are tough times. It's not just happily seeing through scams and earning a lot of money. Sometimes times are like this. And what can she do about that? Is she along for the ride still? Or does she want to dip out? What does she value here? Right? It's going to give them both time to figure that out on their own, separately, individually, process what just happened. And they will come out of it stronger, I have no doubt. That's always how it is, both individually and as a couple. I mean, why do we have a third act breakup in so many fucking romance movies and stories, right? To strengthen the couple eventually in the end. We'll see where it goes. Wisdom of a wolf and smooth talk of a merchant. That tells me that Holo will bring some sort of a solution to this little conundrum, thanks to her wisdom, and Kraft will execute that well with his smooth talking. Which doesn't tell me much, does it? Alright. Alright. That was episode 9 of Spice and Wolf. And honestly, first of all, this took me by surprise. It really did. Like, all this time, all along, throughout all those episodes, everything was on like an upward, going in like an upward direction, right? Holo was a net positive influence. We can make some money, but we make a lot of money thanks to Holo. And we're making more money and more money and more money. And oh, Kraft can finally afford a place to call his own. And that causes an issue because Holo wants to travel, right? We were going in that direction. And the general scheme, schema, whatever, pattern. The general pattern seemed to be that traveling. There's a trading opportunity. Someone tries to scam Kraft, but Holo notices that, and he isn't getting scammed, right? Holo overhears with her cute ears that something is missing in the city, and they can make a lot of money thanks to that, right? I really thought that is going to be not quite. I want to say buddy cop, but no, not whatsoever. Like a story of them complementing each other, and generally positive. Generally, a story of like building a mercantile empire, essentially, where whatever Kraft is lacking, Holo makes up for it. Whatever Holo is lacking, Kraft makes up for it, and together they make up more than the sum of their parts, and right, something like that. And there's gonna be some arcs of, oh, there's a new opportunity to make or lose some money, and we get into that and we make a lot of money thanks to Holo and thanks to Kraft, right? This episode surprised me because while I expected a little bit of a fall, I expected maybe one of the business ventures to not work out. I expected them to maybe lose some money, right? I expected things like that. I expected maybe some sort of a disaster to strike. Maybe they lost their cart falling from a ravine. Maybe they were robbed. Maybe, right? Stuff like that is what I expected. But this is so much more potent, so much stronger, so much more powerful. Just straight up bankruptcy and a threat of a decade of forced labor with a deadline of 2 days. This is something you have for the finale. This is something that's a culmination, something that allows both Kraft and Holo to use their skills to their utmost to get out of this sticky situation. But it's not the end. It's not a culmination, it's just another arc. And we didn't have any smaller failures along the line either. Everything was going fairly well. Even when they had to hide in the sewers, it's not like they were denied help. No, they had very good help, very able help. People were with them. Now it really seems like they're alone against the world. So it really hits like that much more. And then you have that third act breakup on top of that. So much drama going on in such a short time span without any like smaller blips of drama happening beforehand. It really took me by surprise. Not negatively, though. No, like, don't think it's me complaining, because I'm liking where it's going, and I wonder where it's going, so that's good. Keeps my interest high. But it did take me by surprise. At the same time, I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out how they're actually going to get out of this situation. Like, the only out I can come up with is being able to travel somewhere very fast thanks to Nora to make money on the armor. That's the only thing that comes to mind. Alternatively, something that would not work. I thought that perhaps the armor can be sold, then Kraft can purchase some fabric, give it to Nora, tell Nora to sew some clothes for him, then sell them for enough money to pay off the debt and have still some left over for Nora, or right, something like that. But no, that's not gonna work because Nora has an aspiration to be a seamstress. She is not a seamstress right now. She probably doesn't know how to hold a needle. So that's not gonna work. What could Holo do with her wolven form? Because that was a big foreshadowing, I feel. I'm not sure, honestly. Besides Holo hunting down some sheep from bigger flocks and then ripping their wool so that Kraft can sell the wool, that seems too far-fetched. It has to have to do with Nora, I feel. She wouldn't be introduced as a character if she had no significance for the current arc. I wonder if it actually is about, oh, there is a big wolf in the forest. We can't go through the big wolf no matter what we do. But oh, Nora can. So despite their fear of the church, the merchants still go for Nora's help. And whatever money she earns, a percentage of that goes to Kraft. It could work, but on a longer time span. It wouldn't work in just 2 days. In a span of a week or month, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Not 2 days. Yeah, I've got nothing. I legitimately have no ideas besides probably involves Nora. Actually, might as well note it down, I guess. Nora somehow helps get Kraft out of debt. How? Beats me. Somehow. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got, and holy shit, that's gonna be a long episode. Oh, an hour and 23 minutes already. Jesus. Yeah, I better stop talking. So maybe you guys have something more to add, though, on the topic of this episode. What did you think of it, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? Say so in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. I beg of you, if you do want to talk spoilers, you can do that on my Discord here, also in the description below. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to be notified of future videos. Not only Spice and Wolf, but also Yuuki, Yuuna. The finale is already up on Patreon. Sentai Daishikkaku, Kaijuu Hachigo, Unnamed Memory, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when I go live, because I do sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Yuuki, Yuuna, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube through memberships, super thanks, super chats. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Zeraina, Yuuki, Ala, Ishtamu, Dr. Takama, Sarmash, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to go bankrupt.